So can I get your first and last name to begin with, please?
Yeah, my name's Carl Darby-Warner.
Thank you. And then, how often do you feel you get a concussion or have had a concussion?
Last season, I think in total I had it 3 times in total. This season, so far none. So we're doing better than we did last year.
Touch wood.
Touch all the wood. Touch all the wood.
So when you had the concussions last year,
yeah.
How did you tell almost that you had them? What did you feel that way?
So my first bout of concussion, we were up in Manchester playing them. I was in the zone, I was enjoying the game, and then I remember getting hit in the forehead. Brushed it off and thought nothing of it, I'll crack on. And it wasn't until it was a couple of minutes later where I then had my head in the wrong place for another tackle and then had a head-on-head collision. And then I remember, not much after that, and then just sort of being on the floor, on my hands and knees, with going, oh, that's a bit odd to be down here. And then I was struggling to get up, and afterwards, and then that's when I got told to get off the pitch. Got assessed by their medic, and was told, like, this is the telltale signs of concussion. You need to be off. You're off now for 2 weeks. So that was the first lot. So technically, I should have come off after the first impact. I didn't think anything of it, but now, as soon as I have like a bit of a head twinge, I'm like, okay, let me just take 5 minutes, let me go and call, just even if it's 10 minutes off the side. I'm like, how do I feel? And the second one was, again, another head-on-head, without a scrum cap on this time. And again, the same things, like I had the whole, like the dizziness, the whole feeling like that. So yeah, I now know telltale signs in myself when something's happening.
That second one, did you say yourself you should go off?
No, I got taken off.
Yeah.
So again, another thing with the club, once there is a head collision, they take it like with the utmost sincerity, and we are taken off, we're sort of assessed, and then it's determined whether it is going to be concussion off or whether it's just more of impact and shock, and doing it that way. So that one, again, was concussion. So yeah, the club were acutely aware of what's happened and why I went down.
And then with your returns for each one, would you find yourself trying to go for a more gradual return, or would you almost try and go straight from not doing much to almost straight back into training and then try and do matches again?
It was hard because it's head over heart. So my heart was telling me, you can do this. You've got, like, just come back straight away. Like, you're absolutely fine. My head, with everything that was going on, so the forgetfulness, the bouts of dizziness for several weeks and months afterwards, was going, like, you need to take it easy. Like, you shouldn't be going back into contact. And then even coming back into training, we got the bibs of shame to wear, so people knew we had head injuries, and I think there were 3 of us at the time, and so we all wore these bibs, so we knew when we were doing drills or anything, it was a case of, these 3 are not doing it, they're doing whatever they can, but stop. And that was a hard one to overcome, because I wanted to get back into it, because in my head I was thinking, I've had a head injury, if I don't get back now, I'm never going to come back because I'm too scared, because you see everything and you learn everything. So I wanted to come back, but I listened and I did the right thing, and I took a gradual, phased return back into training and then back into games.
Yeah. And then how, in terms of like your family and friends, how supportive were they of you, both at the time of the concussion, but also in terms of you actually getting to return? Was it made almost, they didn't want you to almost return because of fear?
Yeah.
Or were they so supportive of you returning?
There's a mixture. So my other half actually plays for us as well. So he was there for both bouts of the injuries. When I first told family that I'd come off with concussion and all this stuff, both of them were like, no, you're done. Like, you're not playing ever again. That's it. Well, you're not doing it. Even though it's this level, you're not doing it. But I had to explain to them that what we're doing and the phase return, and they understood that I enjoy rugby. I enjoy playing the sport. I know the risks that are associated with it. These are the steps the club are taking. This is what I'm taking to get back into it. They were really supportive with getting back. I think their main concern was the memory loss that I had from the first set of concussion. Especially my other half, who was there. We had a conversation earlier in the week, and by the end of the week, I don't remember us having the same conversation. He was very much like, if you are coming back, you need to be more careful. You need to be fully aware of what's going on, and because of that, I then invested in a scrum cap. I now wear that all the time. I'm now very acutely aware when I'm playing, because it's not just me, it is everyone else that supported me to get me back, to also know that they want me to be careful and safe.
And with the scrum cap, how beneficial do you feel it is? Do you feel safer with it? Or is it still...
So, I feel invincible with it, which I don't think that's meant to be the case. Like, I'm very aware that I've got this little bit of protection on. So when I first started wearing it, I was coming back maybe doing hits a bit harder than I should have, and being maybe a little bit reckless, because I was like, oh, it's okay, well, I've got this on. Like, I'm going to be absolutely fine. When in reality, that's probably not what I should have been doing. Like, that's not going to stop anything. Like, I'm still going to have head-on-head collisions. I'm still going to have head to knee. I'm going to hit the floor. So yeah, it was, first of all, made me feel invincible, but now whenever I put it on, I'm like, okay, this is just an added layer of protection. I still need to know my skills, and I still need to be careful when going in for tackles.
And then, I really like to ask this question because it's a different answer each time. For you personally, do you see it as the forwards are the more likely to get a concussion, or the backs are the more likely to get the concussion?
I would say forwards. I feel we're the heavy hitters. We're the ones that are almost seen as that first line of defence when you're defending against the other team. We are there. We're the forefront. Even when we're attacking, we've got to be the ones that are driving this forward. And I think because of that, I feel maybe we're a bit more inclined to. But when you look at our club, we've actually got a back who has probably more concussion than I do. And I think, yeah, I would say my opinion is forwards are more inclined.
And then with like the new gum shields that are being made, do you see the benefit of them for rugby players all around, or do you like the sensors for the injuries? Do you see a major benefit? 100%,
because there's a lot of, we now know a lot more than we did go back 20 to 30 years in rugby. We know that these minor collisions we're seeing now could have a massive impact in the future, and it can have a detrimental impact in your health. So the more we're aware of it, the more we can do to stop people coming back too early, get people off the pitch when they need to, rather than very much like me when I was in Manchester. I had a knock to the head. I should have come off, because that gum shield, if we were on a professional level, would have clocked that my head had an impact. And so I'd have come off, been assessed and gone, right, you're not going back on. And so then I wouldn't have had a second bout in the same game, which then could have set me back even further. I understand people may get frustrated with it because it might move people around the pitch a bit more, it might stop the game a little bit more, but we have to, like, health and like safety is the paramount, like, because if we're not, then the game stops and the game won't continue for longevity. So we've got to be careful, we've got to be safe, but also find a happy medium and continue to play.
Yeah. And then I did also want to ask, so you said you had with your return, how have you noticed yourself playing differently? Has there been a major aspect of your game that you've realised you completely switched to try and be safer?
Good question. So end of last season, I think I was still on the adrenaline high of coming back, and like that was my first season back after like 15 years of playing rugby. So I was like loving life, I felt like I was playing the best rugby I've ever played in my life. And I came back and we were moving up the league, and like we're gonna win this. So I was like, I'm going in for it. I'm going to do everything I need to do. And then I don't know what happened over the summer, but my confidence dropped, and I became very aware that I did have several head injuries and several bouts of concussion. And then I only started coming back a couple of weeks ago, so I've missed quite a bit of the season, but that's more of a confidence thing. And then we played on Saturday, and I needed that. I needed to come back in a really slow, gradual phase for me to go, do you know what, I can still do this, I can still do the heavy hits, I can still move about. And so my confidence is now back up. So yeah, didn't care at the beginning, at the end of last season. This season, maybe I cared a bit more about my health. And as I got older, I'm like, I need to be a bit more careful.
And is that for your family, would you say, or is it more...
More me.
Yourself?
Yeah, more myself. They've obviously expressed their concerns. When I said I was going to come back and play this season, obviously there was a bit of concern from everyone going, do you think you should? And obviously I think that plays a part when there's people around you necessarily going, oh, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? You do sort of, those little earworms get in and you think about it. But no, it was more of a me thing for the gradual comeback and just wanting to be making sure that I'm fit and healthy in all aspects and stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's been very helpful.
That's all right.